Hey fellow ximango pilots, I'm here with the Super ximango. There's very little information out there on this airplane in general on the web, so I'm going to walk you through a few things. I got to take the wings off. We unfortunately had a gearbox failure, which is up inside here. You have to be very careful about that little guy right there. And as you can see, the fiberglass is broken all around it, and it was a little bit loose, and it was probably that way for a while, wore itself out and skipped a gear on the way up, and then on the way back down it wouldn't allow the other side to extend fully, so we had a partial gear up landing, and that damaged the gearbox, of course, on this side. So what I have now is as the factory recommends, is to harness the airplane by the upper engine mount. I also have on the same harness a big strap where I have double-sided tape underneath it so it can't slip. That's like carpet tape, and that's going to get the big strap, and they're on individual ratchets, so I have the majority of the weight on the engine mount, but I also like to kind of cradle the forward bulkhead, and I've made up a little system here to cradle the wings. These are again on ratchet straps. I don't have the airplane up and leveled. I've got the airplane still sitting back at a 3-point attitude, but I'll be able to ratchet these up as need be, and that'll pull it up. Oh, that came out of its spot. But those will bring the wings up to where I need them to be. I could tighten them up and get the weight off of them. And the next big thing is going to be to pull the pin inside. Now that pin, it's going to come up and towards me. If you could see that, it's usually safety wired, and if it can come up towards me, and you're going to have to pull the pin out, but all the stress has to be off of it. And that's the trick, is to find out where that neutral point is with the droop of the wings. It's a very heavy airplane. The wings weigh quite a bit. So I have got, on one end, I've got a ratchet strap out here, and I have a jack with some cardboard and wood under it way out at the other end, and the gear, of course, on that side. This gear is suspended just about an inch off the ground right now from everything else. So we're just trying to find that nice neutral point, and the wings have never been off of this, so they're going to be a little sticky anyways. So I'm probably going to have to climb in, go behind that bulkhead. As you can see right there, you reach behind it. You're going to have to be a contortionist, and you can see the back of the pin, and that's where you're probably going to get your best swing to tap it out with a hammer. So check out for the next installment here. I'll be back in just a little bit with a wing off. We're back with the Super ximango, and what I've done next in process for the wing removal is to disconnect the aileron push rod. You have to disconnect the fuel line. You have to disconnect, I believe it's either a vent for the fuel line, it might be a pitot tube of some sort, but there was one line that was empty. There's a brake line. All three of those, or well, two of those will leak fluid, so you're going to have, this type of block out on the end to be able to put it on there and keep anything from flowing out, or you can drain the gas. But the brake fluid will all drain out of the upper end of the system if you don't block it off. So we have our pin out. Everything's looking good for wing separation. I believe there are 4 pins inside the wing, so we just pull them off as straight as we can. I got about an inch pulled out so far. And this is just a real basic setup here. I made a furniture dolly and some 2x8s. And I have a ratchet strap going across underneath, and the wing itself isn't all that heavy, so the rest of the airplane's pretty heavy. So anyways, we're going to slide that out. It's on wheels so it can roll out, and we're doing that right now, and we'll be back with the results. Alright, here we are back on the Super ximango. You'll notice there's a hole here where there used to be a gearbox. And here is that gearbox. That part right there fits right there. All you'd have is that little stub sticking out that goes into the actuator. Same thing if you look inside. I had to cut a hole, which basically was the front of the gearbox. Now, if you'll notice, this gearbox is, I was expecting this to be a metal unit, maybe covered with fiberglass or bonded in, but the box is made of fiberglass. If you notice, the gears, there's a bearing, it must be a bearing on the far end, there's a bearing on the back side, and the two gears come together, and it is made entirely of fiberglass. So this is where we had one of our failures. On the other side, the box failed, the gears skipped, and the plane came down on the good side, partially deployed, but we decided we have to cut out the gearbox to make sure that this side wasn't having damage either. Interestingly enough, there was a couple of acorns in there, and I'll tell you, how the heck does a squirrel get in there, you know? I mean, before it had the holes. So anyways, stay tuned, guys. Here's what she looks like with the wing off. There's a double spar on the right side. It's very heavy. Everything here is very, very heavy. As long as you've got lots of jack stands, lots of lifts, have it picked up in a lot of different directions. I made the cradles with the straps. As long as you have everything in every direction, you get a little sawhorse out there for just in case while I'm underneath it. As long as everything's secured, you're going to be all right. But I'll tell you, a couple times it creaked on me, and so I put a couple more jack stands under it just to make sure. All right, I'll return with the other side. What I expected to see, like some kind of a metal contraption there, whatever. What I actually saw, after I cut it out, is this fiberglass doohickey. There's nothing inside it. It's all fiberglass. There's just a bearing, couple bearings, but the whole thing's fiberglass, and it was all bonded to the floor. Yeah, go figure.